Hello, Internet online, and welcome to A Drink to the Past, the coolest podcast in the whole wide world. Except if there's a cooler podcast, but there's not, because we're the coolest.
Coolest podcast in the world, with exceptions, of course.
Yeah, of course. Hi, I'm Sean Michael Patrick Thompson, your host as always, and today we have a live stream, sort of, not really a live, but, you know, it's a stream of gameplay on our podcast, because we're cool, if you're watching on YouTube. Hey, there's Crow.
Wait.
Hey, Crow.
Wait, I can't hear you.
Crow can't hear me. Oh no.
Hold on. Wait.
Can you hear me
You
now?
can't even hear us, even
Okay,
though
now
we're
I'm here.
recording. We're a professional outfit here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Chris, Professional Audette.
Are you really that professional?
I'm
mean, it's
at
in the
least
name.
semi-professional.
Nice.
I work a professional job, supposedly.
Oh, do you now?
Yeah.
Alright. I'm going to turn you both up a little bit here on a very professional looking video that's just going to have some inexplicable Discord settings on top of it. But that's okay. Alright. So yeah, as I was saying right before Crow joined us here, I've got some brand new technology that's going to help us on the podcast. So I'm going to be playing some Super Mario Brothers. That's one of our pieces of news and booze we'll go over. So first of all, let's get into Sean Drinks Something Stupid, and then I can actually start playing here. And I'll have you two decide which of these Mario games I should play first. But first, on Sean Drinks Something Stupid, I have a piece of Spam that I am going to make into a shot glass, which was stolen from B.C. Williams on Twitter, which is B-E-E-S-E-E Williams. So check out that person. Just randomly came across my stream that he had a piece of Spam that was cut in half and filled it with Captain Morgan. So I'm going to do that, except with Kraken, because I'm a Kraken man. So you guys fans of Spam? I'm not sure how he made it into a shot glass, so I'm just going to shove my finger in it.
In moderation.
Yeah. Well, I like Spam enough to have named a superhero after it, which is why my username on Twitter is Spamoman to this day.
I have seen that picture floating around, and I always thought, God, that looks just awful.
Well, aren't you
It's
glad
gross.
we're not doing recordings together at my house anymore, because you would have got to try one. But that's okay. Okay, I think I have successfully carved a shot glass here out of my Spam
Too
cube.
bad you don't have editing in post. Probably would have blurred that.
Right? I mean, I could, but I'm not fancy. I don't care enough. You guys can see our full, glorious meat.
What's with the getup?
Well, I always wear a different hat, and this just happened to be one of the hats that I chose today. It's my ski helmet.
Huh.
So, yeah. I'm also not sure if I should drink this, or if I should just, like, eat it full of Kraken. What do you think?
If you drink it first, then you're not going to spill
I
precious Kraken
spilled
all
some.
over everything.
Too late.
Just as I was saying.
I screwed up. I have to drink. Kraken and Spam work surprisingly well. I was expecting that, actually, because Spam is a nice, salty, savory thing, and then you add that with the sweet and spicy of the Kraken. So you got sweet and salty, you got sweet and spicy, you got spicy and savory, and sweet and savory. Just everything works together.
You know what? I have to confess to something here. I like roast beef hash. I like my corned beef hash. I'm not a fan of Spam.
Huh. Well,
Apparently,
I'll eat your Spam for you.
Drink to the Past has turned into a mukbang show.
Drink to the Past is the only podcast on YouTube where you can watch a guy in a ski helmet eat a piece of Spam.
That is probably true. That's probably 100% true.
All right, so
Gotta get
Let's-
your claim to fame somewhere.
right. So anyways, let's get into this. So which Mario game should I play, guys? We got Super Mario All-Stars here on Super Nintendo, which was just
Say
added on the
Super
Switch.
Mario 3.
Super Mario 3, alright. Well, unless Crow has a vote, that's what we're going with.
Go for it. I enjoyed that game.
Yeah. Alright. So, yeah. This is pretty cool. Also, I got a capture card, so now I can put my Switch on here. So, that's pretty cool.
Which one did you get?
I got a reasonably priced one, which is why the top of my screen says Easy Cap HD Capture, instead of, looking professional. But, it works. I figured, why break the bank just getting started. So anyways, let's get into our news and booze today as I go to my first level. So first piece of news and booze, Joseph Staten is joining the Halo Infinite team as project lead. He previously worked as a writer and director of cinematics. I was reading this topic and I died, so I have to drink. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. So let me introduce the beer though.
That works.
So anyways, he worked on previous Halo games and now he's back for round on Halo Infinite. So what do you guys think about that?
I think it's good for the project. Before we continue on this, I don't suppose you're able to reduce the volume of the capture at all, are you?
You should be able to mute it through Discord.
You can mute it on your end, Crow.
And that won't affect
I'm
my
just thinking for the sake of the video.
Yeah, I think I have the levels. I did a sound check before, so our levels should be pretty good on that on the video part.
Have you been playing a lot of Halo recently, Sean?
A bit, because I got Master Chief Collection a few weeks ago. I haven't played since Halo 3 came out, and I beat that, basically. And I've went online a few times since then, but not very much. Just playing random matches in Halo Reach online, and that's been pretty fun. So... Alright.
Been playing any other games?
Yeah, actually, let's get into what you're playing as long as we're at it. One of the games I've been playing is not this one, but I just started, so... it's a little difficult to... Because I keep, am I gonna die on the Goomba, or...
It is a little difficult to talk and play video games at the same time. For anyone who's never tried to,
It takes some time to get used to it.
Yeah, certainly. But yeah, also as I said last week, or no, I didn't, because we didn't have a podcast last week. But I've been I fell in a hole. I have to drink.
Read the needle.
Yeah, so I got Spiritfarer on Xbox Game Pass, which I had originally seen in the Nintendo Direct. They had an indie showcase direct thing, and I thought it was hilarious that Nintendo was advertising a product which I gave Microsoft money for. But, that's how that works. My first beer of the week is Oktoberfest beer from Sierra Nevada, so fuck pumpkin spice, it's Martin Lager season, bitches.
I think you should know, I would like to see a compilation of all the different beers and other alcohols you've had on the show, and have there been any duplicates?
There have been an occasional duplicate, but I try to have a unique beer every week if I can. So at the very least, I try to have a new beer or a new cocktail or something unique every episode, even if it's just a one-off cocktail that I make or something, and I make it out of the wrong ingredients or something. So
I mean, you're getting close to 100 episodes.
Yeah. Also, an interesting thing that I started this year is I actually did I have a little drive document of all of the different beers that I've tried this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm a little over 100 unique different beers that I've drank this year.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's actually very impressive.
Yeah, especially considering I haven't been going out to breweries for several months. So, yeah. But anyways, back to Spiritfarer. It's a kind of an interesting little indie game where you take on the role of death, pretty much, where you're, the captain of this ship, and, taking people to their otherworldly journeys, but it's a lot more cute than that makes it sound. And a lot of the people, you knew them in, you know, their life or something, and now their wandering spirit is, like, lost, and you have to help these people that you actually knew in life get to the beyond. So it's a kind of a cool little game. So far it's kind of grindy. There's a whole lot of crafting things and stuff like that, and none of the mechanics are bad, but I feel like there's a whole lot of that and not as much like actual like stories so far. So I'd like it to get a little bit on with the story if it could, but overall it's still a fun, really unique kind of a experience. So I think there's a secret on one of these, isn't there?
Somewhere.
Yeah, ow.
Yeah, that's where they get you.
Okay. Yep. Bonk.
I wasn't there for it. Did you guys do anything special for the 1-year anniversary of the podcast?
I think we mentioned it within 2 or 3 weeks of our first year. Wow, these levels are shorter than I remember them. I probably sucked at Mario as a kid.
Also, these are just the first couple levels, so...
Yeah, but I feel like they're also, like, shorter than, like, the original Super Mario Brothers, which I've played a lot more than Mario 3, or, Super Mario World, which is my favorite one.
I mean, they're definitely shorter than World.
I think they're... yeah, I think that's true.
Mm-hmm.
But it certainly helps when you're tearing ass through the levels.
Yeah, you know. And that's pretty much all I've been... Hey! How did I even do that?
I didn't know you could do
Bumped
that.
into it sideways.
Yeah, I guess. So, Chris, what you been playing?
I've been playing mostly Stellaris, of all things.
Nice.
I've been playing a lot of that multiplayer, having a lot of fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
So Stellaris, for the people who've never played that, is basically it's kind of the real-time with pause 4X style game. If you've ever played Europa Universalis 4 or Crusader Kings 2 or something like that, it's like that, but space opera.
Mm-hmm.
And it is also one of the very few games where you can be very creative in the kind of war crimes you commit.
Nice.
There's the whole planet cracker, the neutron sweep, the capturing another civilization species and then turning them into food and feeding them back to the original empire that you captured them from.
Mm-hmm. Sounds pretty neat.
But,
I jumped in a hole. But I've heard nothing but good things about that game, so it sounds kind of interesting.
So, yeah, I've been having a lot of fun doing the multiplayer of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Crow, what you been playing this week?
It's been a combination of Minecraft when I'm feeling really lazy. Figured I'd revisit that because I mean the last time I played that was in their like 1.8 update. They're up to 1.16 or some shit, so I'm very behind. But then chiefly I've been playing Fall Guys.
Alright, I've been hearing lots of good things about that too. It's a little party game.
Yeah, it's essentially if Japan got a hold of Wipeout and then made a video game out of it, that's Fall Guys. And I learned, because I think I have like 18 or 19 wins or something like that. I'm in the top like 2% of the world in wins. So.
Oh no.
Did not time that jump.
Wow, top 2% of the world in wins. But
yeah.
So I gotta ask, how long does it stay fun for? Because it looks like it would be a lot of fun for at least a little bit, but I'm not sure. Just looking at it, I'm not sure how long it would stay fun for.
I mean, it certainly stays more fun when you keep winning games. that is a big deciding factor. It can be very frustrating at times, especially with team games, or there's still a fair number of hackers, even though they're doing what they can to deal with it. It can still, they'll slip through the cracks, and then you've essentially lost your game. I've been lucky in that I haven't come across any hackers yet, but obviously now that I say that, I'm probably going to get one on my next match.
I
But no,
feel like lots of online PC games have hackers to some extent. Like,
Yeah.
like
I mean,
Dota
it's a
2,
given. Yeah, in pretty much
Dota
any
2,
game.
Left
it's
4
gonna be a
Dead,
given.
or not Left 4 Dead, Dead by Daylight.
Yeah. Funny enough, I haven't actually run into any hackers in Dead by Daylight, or at least none that I've noticed.
There's lots of videos out there of people just like basically turning their speed up to 500 and just glitching through walls. So apparently it's common enough that on free weekends it's particularly common.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean so far it hasn't really gotten old for me. It is varied enough and enjoyable enough just as a game that I haven't lost interest. Plus they have their season 2 coming in a few weeks that's going to add a whole bunch of new game modes, so there's that as well. Highly recommend.
All right. So shall we get into the news and booze for real this time?
For real season.
Since
style.
we...
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I jumped over the mushroom. But, yeah, so, next piece of news and booze is Video Games Chronicle is, reporting that I jumped on a piranha plant. They're reporting that,
That's what
Nintendo
reporting.
is, going
Slow day at the
to,
office.
bring us a higher power Nintendo Switch, which is entering production right now as though for a launch in early 2021, and Bloomberg is backing up this report and also added that Nintendo has looked into 4K high-definition graphics. So what do you think about that? Are we getting a 4K Switch in January or something?
Well, I'm curious as to what the benefit of 4K would be for games that aren't set to go up to that resolution. But I'm interested to see what it looks like.
Right?
I mean, if this is in fact a thing, they can do what the PS4 and Xbox One X did at launch, which is just release patches for the games to give them 4K updates.
Yeah, I'm sure if that's in the plans, then they'd, put in an extra firmware update, something that would allow you to do that if you had that Switch. I feel
Even if
like,
it's
and
just
then
Nintendo,
obviously, as they're going forward, make more, games that are going in that direction. But I feel like it sounds like a thing that a particular demographic would find, like, really, really awesome, and most Switch owners are not going to care about all that much.
Right.
Because I feel like most Switch owners are primarily handheld users.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I'm a handheld user
Mhm.
almost 100% of the time.
Yeah. I think I'm definitely, I would say like 60-40 on handheld. That's I don't necessarily know if this is going to end up being true. Say that it is. I think it would be a benefit to everybody for the simple fact of, I mean, it's the same reason that I will sell anybody a Series X or a PS4 Pro over a regular system or a Slim, regardless of if they have a 4K TV or not, because, I mean, with the enhanced power comes enhanced processing strength.
With enhanced
So-
power comes enhanced responsibility.
Indeed. So even if they don't have a 4K TV, games will run a lot smoother and load faster, so
Yeah.
they still benefit from that.
Yeah, but it's also funny the way the report words it, because it says they looked into it. It doesn't actually say that they're doing it. I would believe
Right.
that they looked into it just to see if it was efficacious, but I also feel like part of Switch's selling point is the price point. It's
Right.
not a super expensive high-end system, and I don't think most people are going to look to pay like $400-500 for a new Switch upgrade. I feel like
Right.
there's certainly a demographic that would, but I don't feel like it is the general Switch user. I
So I
don't think
think-
it would benefit them in the long run to make such a thing. I think they would sell them,
Mm-hmm.
but, like, not as much as they would just like the regular Switch and Switch Lite.
So, let me be clear with this. I don't think that there is going to be a new Switch, or at least not right now. I have always been, and always will be, a strong proponent of the claimed leaks or insider tips or, all these things are complete bullshit. I mean, just look at all of the dozens and dozens... Nice. You should drink for that. All of the dozens and dozens of supposed leaks about PS5 and Xbox Series X, release information completely unsubstantiated and yielded nothing.
Yeah. To be
Now, that
fair,
being said-
Bloomberg did report on the Switch Lite before its launch, so that gives them a little credibility. They are a very large publication, and I don't think that they would, just spew... They're not, the kind of publication, I feel like, that would just say stuff to say stuff,
Yes, but here's the thing. With the Switch Lite, when all those stories started circulating back in, I think it was April or something, that was going around because a accessories manufacturer in China started producing stuff for the Switch Lite. So that produced concrete, hard evidence that, yes, there is a new console in the works. Right now, we just have hearsay. There's no business documents, there's no accessories, there's no...
Is it hearsay or is it eyewitness testimony?
I mean...
That was a stupid joke. Continue.
I don't witness any testimony. I'm sorry. Anyway, if in the event they do have a high-end one, I think one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to release just a full-on everything better version of the Switch, 4K graphics, better loading, have both modes available, yada yada, and price it at $400. But they wouldn't. I don't think they would put it any higher. Or they would do the inverse. Hey, we got a visitor. They would do the inverse of the Switch Lite.
He's usually the guy that comes in the middle of the podcast.
Nick?
I think. I don't have everyone's names memorized.
He
Anyway,
might just be here to watch me play Mario.
Yeah. They could do the inverse of the Switch Lite, where they make this new one a home console only, and cut out the Switch capabilities to reduce on cost. Because that's part of the point of the Switch, is to be a cost-effective system.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility, certainly. There's been rumors of that kind of thing for, since Switch came out, pretty much, so...
I mean, it would make business sense.
Yeah, I think there's a demographic for that as well. So, maybe it's coming, maybe it's not. I don't know. Alright, next piece of news and booze. Lord of the Rings Gollum got its first trailer, and it revealed that it's going to be the first game coming out for next-gen systems as well as Nintendo Switch. So, yeah, what do you think about that? Any hype for this game, or...
What a weird launch title. What the hell? I'm genuinely baffled.
Yeah.
Maybe fine.
It looks kind of neat from the trailers. I'm not really sure what to make of it. One of the things that I noticed I don't think it really looks all that next gen. I feel like you could run it pretty easily on PS4, so I'm not that surprised that it's coming to Switch as well. It doesn't look crazy technically complicated. But, I'm just a guy who drinks beer on a podcast. Speaking of which, what kind of beer are you guys drinking?
I am drinking Odell IPA.
Alright. It's not a bad one.
Very,
you like
very
that one pretty
standard.
well?
Yeah, I like that one pretty well. It's a good go-to.
I'm drinking the Not Your Father's cream soda this time.
Alright, not the root beer, it's the cream soda. You like that one better than the cream soda?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's a smoother taste and a little sweeter.
Nice. So what do you rate those on a scale of 3 to 17?
I'd go with a 13. Pretty good. Not amazing, but...
Yeah, sounds good. What do you think yours, Chris?
14? Not as good as I normally like it. Maybe maybe I was just not in the mood for a bitter hoppy thing this time around.
Yeah, that's possible.
The old man.
Alright, so next piece of news and booze. I'm going to go through this part a little quickly because I don't think there was anything. Obviously, since we've had a podcast, there was 2 directs that happened. So the first one was the Nintendo Mini Partner Showcase last week. And they had a whole bunch of things, and most of it was just kind of eh. So there's a new trailer for Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. We knew that was coming out. Fuser DJ mixing game by Harmonix.
Interesting.
Taiko no Tatsujin collection coming with 2 games if you're into taiko drumming. Shitload of rhythm games in this for some reason. World of Tanks Blitz, which was shadow dropped, is free to play, is now out on mobile and Switch, I believe. Possibly other places too. Big Rumble Bonksing Creed Champions looked like the most generic licensed game of Rocky characters you could possibly imagine. Final Fantasy Legend Collection of Saga, which includes the first 3 Final Fantasy Legend games from Game Boy, is releasing. So I thought that actually looked kind of interesting, because I've never played any of the Final Fantasy Legend games.
Definitely interested in picking that up.
Yeah. Just Dance 2021 is coming out eventually. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. Minecraft Dungeons is getting some DLC we knew was coming, but they dropped a trailer for it. Jump Force is coming to well, it's out now actually, and Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered is coming out now. So they put out a couple of last-minute trailers for all of those. And yeah, what do you think about that?
Okay, the 2 games with Final Fantasy in the name, I am probably going to pick both of those up.
Yeah,
Especially Crystal Chronicles Remastered, holy hell.
Yeah, I'm very, very torn on Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered, personally, because I really want to be hyped for it, because, I mean, Chris, you were one of the guys that played the original with me a shitload way back when, and that game was amazing, but now they've remade it with no local co-op and bad online, and I'm like watching video reviews and reading reviews on this, and just nobody likes the way the online works. It's total nonsense, because as soon as you beat a level, you can either replay it or split your party completely, and then you have to reconnect with everybody in the next level.
Oh, that's terrible. If they would have to patch that before I would think about picking that up.
Yeah, I'm just like, that sounds... And I was so hyped to, like, just play this game with my kids, right? Because it's I feel like a good introductory level RPG that you can just play with, you know, your kids or whoever. You know, I feel like it would be a good way to introduce kids to an RPG, because it works with 2 buttons, right? Yeah. But I'm not gonna buy, you know, however many copies of it. You know, even though it's only like $30, I think, but still, in order to experience the whole game, you know, I'd have to buy 4 copies of it or something, and I'm just not gonna do that. And then I'd have to find another Switch or have one person playing on my phone or something. That's just a crazy-ass debacle. I'm like, don't want to. So, alright, and then, of course, there was the Super Mario Brothers 35th Anniversary Direct, which I will actually have to remove my ski goggles to read my notes on, because I didn't put them all on there. So, a new Game & Watch is coming out for something like the first time in 15 or 20 years. When was the last time they made a Game & Watch? Right?
Whoa, what?
Yeah, so it's Super Mario Brothers Game & Watch. It comes with the original game, plus the Lost Levels, and the Game & Watch ball game with the original guy, except for it's got a Mario theme now, so it's Mario juggling the balls or whatever. So that's kind of interesting little thing there. I was like, that's kind of cool. Super Mario 3D World is getting a port, plus Bowser's Fury, which is a new mode being added to the game. They were very foggy on what exactly it is. People are saying in the trailer that it kind of looks like a big open world area. And then they introduced Super Mario 35 for the 35th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers. Is a remake of the original Super Mario Brothers, but with 35 simultaneous players, and whenever you jump on an enemy and defeat it, it goes to another one of those players, and you just keep going until somebody is defeated. Which
What
sounds
if Super Mario
absolutely
Brothers,
hilarious.
but a battle royale?
Yeah,
It's
right?
just Tetris 99.
Yeah. Let's see, what was next? So that one is going to be a Nintendo Switch Online exclusive until March 31st, and then it's going away, I think is what the Direct seemed to imply, which seems very odd, but could happen, you know. It's a little weird, but whatever. Next thing they revealed is Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, which is a game that mixes augmented reality gameplay with a remote control car. So you literally have a remote control Mario Kart car that you put in your house, and you make tracks in your house, and then you control it with your Switch, and it uses augmented reality on the Switch to put up checkpoints and other racers, and if you run over a banana peel, then like your remote control car will slow down for a minute and stuff like that. And it's like, holy crap, this looks so fucking cool. I fucking want it. What do you guys
I'll
think?
have to see it in action.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I think, I'm not sure it's for everybody. It's certainly not like the next Mario Kart, but I think it's a really cool thing. I'm gonna just have a ton of fun setting up like weird traps and stuff with my kids and making, you know, just little courses around our house. I think is gonna be super fun, because I used to do that kind of stuff with my, you know, back in the day when I was a kid, I had like Rumble Robots.
Back in my day.
yeah, back in the day, before I drank my beer. Actually, I forgot to rate my beer, so I think I have to drink.
Like I say, actually, I drank beer back then too.
Not as much.
Not that you could talk about.
Yeah, no, I try to downplay that a little. But I did eat Spam.
I don't know, what a surprise.
All right, where
I
were
will
we?
say. Go ahead.
Super Mario All-Stars came to Nintendo Switch Online, which is what you are viewing right now, except for my stream is paused because I went over here for a moment to look at the thing. So, there's my stream back. You're welcome. It's paused on there, too. And the final thing that they put in... well, first there was a kind of a middle thing where they advertised a bunch of stuff, like the Lego Mario sets that are coming out, and a couple of other things like that. And they're doing some other things in other Nintendo games, like they're going to have a Super Smash Bros. Online tournament featuring Mario characters and stages. And what I'm most excited about these particular, like, kind of mid-range, here's just some other Mario hype things, is that in January we are getting another fucking Splatfest with a Mario theme. So I am super hyped about that, because we don't have enough Splatfests anymore, and I love Splatoon 2. So that's going to be awesome. You guys big into Splatfests?
I have never played Splatoon.
Nor have I.
You fools. You fools!
I
guess
am-
I'll have to drink.
I'm very intrigued by the Mario Kart thing, though. If nothing else, just because the graphics on that thing looked gorgeous. So, leads me to wonder if maybe we aren't that far from getting a new Mario Kart.
It's possible.
a
I've
step
been
in the right
wondering,
direction.
like, since Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is doing so well on the Switch, like, if they're going to bother making a Mario Kart 9 on the Switch, or if they're going to push it off to whatever their next console is.
Definitely when it slows down. I want a fucking Double Dash 2!
I want Kirby Air Ride 2. Why don't we have that yet? Alright,
Why don't we Super Smash Kart?
that would work.
Garfield Kart 2.
There you go.
Bubsy the
and
cat.
Final announcement on this thing is Mario 3D All-Stars, which is like Mario All-Stars, but with 3D games. So it's coming out for Switch in like 2 weeks. It's in the middle of September, so we're really close to that. Comes with Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy 1, but inexplicably not Mario Galaxy 2 or Super Mario 3D Land. So
So
I
it
think it's
has,
funny how everybody on Twitter is complaining that Galaxy 2 is cut and nobody gives a shit about 3D Land.
Who was the person who never played Super Mario Sunshine? Was that you, Sean?
I have never played in Super Mario Sunshine, so I'm gonna.
I would
fix that.
strongly, yeah, I'd strongly recommend picking it up for Sunshine.
Mhm.
Yeah. If nothing else, hopefully they fix the camera controls for 64. God, that game was terrible.
Mhm.
Sunshine is particularly a great game to play during the winter when you.
You
not-
wish that
it's
you could be at the beach.
Yeah.
All right. So, general thoughts on both of these directs. I think there was a clear winner if we're going to rate them.
Yeah. Like
The
it's
one with
no
all of the
contest.
Mario announcements you could ever want.
Yeah. And the what is it? The Final Fantasy Saga.
Yeah, the Final
Which looks
Fantasy
cool.
Collection of Saga, I think, is one of the coolest announcements there. And then Jump Force got its release date announced, which was the only other thing I really took away from that. Because I went Jump Force, and it's kind of cool too, because Jump Force is coming out for only $50 on Switch. It was originally $60, and it comes with Wave 1 of the DLC. So it's actually a better deal on Switch than it was on... actually, I think it's a better deal on Switch than it is on PS4 or Xbox One right now. So... because I think they're both 60, except sometimes they do have sales go down to like 40 or stuff, but I haven't seen it drop below 40, and the DLC pack by itself I think is $20. So I think you're getting the best deal out of it if you get it on Switch anyway. So I think that's kind of cool, and I really want this game. I almost bought it on PS4 so many times, but now I'm like, okay, now it's on Switch, I feel like I have to do that. Alright, shall we get into our video game topic or our table topic first?
Yes.
That's what you think, isn't it?
Table topic.
Alright.
Oh, hello, Nick.
Hey, Nick is here!
Th-
Hooray!
This is what he's joined for.
Yeah, alright, so the table topic this week is... Is there a particular genre better suited to tabletops, and are some genres not well suited to tabletops?
I think that's an interesting question in that, in terms of like classical like story genres, you can do most of them with tabletops more or less equivalently. Some are a bit better suited than others, but
Right.
but if you were to switch to like different kinds of like video game genres, like 4X games or like puzzle games, suddenly the divide becomes much sharper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Sorry, I'm a bastard and I missed the question. What was it?
you're drunk, go home.
The question
kidding, you
is,
have to
what is
drink.
the question? The question was, is there a particular genre better suited to tabletops? Are some genres not suited to tabletops?
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, because I feel like in general, you know, you get your average group together and they play a tabletop, and it's 99% of the time gonna be some kind of, like, high fantasy, you know, generic kind of thing. And maybe it's not a generic high fantasy, but, you know, high fantasy, I feel like, is the very, very dominant leader of tabletop RPG genres.
Yeah. It's the de facto starting point.
Yeah.
I would think of it. So there's like story genre and then there's like game genre, and game genre is the one that I think has the bigger divide. Because I'm like, oh, there's things like dungeon crawl, which is a very different thing than like overworld exploration or like explore the plot or railroad, which at that point you're not really having a game at all. But
Right.
Mhm.
I think for like storytelling purposes, you can use pretty much anything, like sci-fi, modern times, old timiness. Like, there's not really much limitation there, as long as you have a rule set to back that up.
I'd say it's maybe slightly less suited for like mundane games, like non-fiction games that are about regular people, but there are systems out there that are explicitly written to let you play that, so even that has an audience, I guess.
Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Slayer.
It's
See,
always,
that's-
I play that tabletop.
Can you not grab shells anymore?
Yeah,
you
I can. I just, like, keep holding the button at the wrong time or running into it too fast or something. I'm not sure. There we go. I got my shell.
Nice.
Yeah, so, why do you think there's not as many, like, steampunk RPG systems or sci-fi RPG systems? Because certainly they come along every now and then. I'm not sure I've ever seen, like, a dedicated steampunk system. I've seen several modular systems that could work for steampunk or stuff like that, but...
So
or cyberpunk or different
I
things
feel
like
like
that. Why is it
I'm-
all high fantasy?
I feel like I have steampunkish systems that, at least one of which is sitting on my shelf, that come closer to approximating that than a lot of the others. I was like, Eberron's like, you can squint at it and you're like, okay, that looks kind of steampunk-esque.
That's kind of true.
I have the Karabos Club or the Cerberus Club, and that's definitely like Victorian era, but with supers and particularly late. So that's, if that's not steampunk, then it's very close. I have Magical Industrial Revolution, which is like a which is like a D&D hack where it's all about inventing new spells and stuff, and that's all like more magical than I guess like steampunk is, but it's very close to that aesthetic.
But still, none of those systems are popular except for, like, Eberron. And Eberron is certainly not up to, like, you know, Castle Greyhawk or you know, any of the big high fantasy system, like, modules and stuff.
So, if we're talking about popularity, then then it's basically D&D is it.
Yeah.
D&D and Pathfinder is it. So we probably shouldn't limit ourselves to that. But
Teabag and Mario.
those things those are pretty well regarded for what they came out of, but they're basically more niche products that already use a pre-existing system. So, or like are meant to be added to something, or like GM facing. So necessarily, and they don't have the same marketing campaign behind them. They don't have, except for like Eberron, because that has Hasbro behind it. So, you know, everyone knows about it.
Right.
So I don't have the data on this, but I have heard that for as popular as D&D is in America, Call of Cthulhu is the big deal in Japan for tabletop games. So maybe this all fantasy thing is mostly an American thing.
It would make sense.
Yeah, I suppose that's possible.
I think it just really depends on the cultural stuff. This high fantasy harkens back to, you know, medieval knights and heroes and big grand adventures slaying grandiose monsters.
God, that was a terrifying toad. Look how big he was compared to you.
He's eating his beans.
What I would say is that there's a big difference between the kind of what we're calling high fantasy, which is really like D&D's weird dungeon fantasy. That's kind of, it's like really American. It's, oh, you can start an adventuring company and build your own shit, be enterprising, as opposed to like Tolkien, where that's much more European, I guess.
You serve your purpose. Go on an adventure. I was going to say you're a liege lord, but the hobbits don't really have a lord, unless Gandalf could be considered as such.
It's I don't think there's many stories that are written that operate on D&D principles, Because if they did, it would be, oh, everyone is a wizard, and the wizard does some absurd bullshit that the author has to spend 2 pages explaining that resolves in about half a second.
So,
And-
One Piece.
Yeah,
Good point.
yeah, D&D is closer to like an anime in terms of resolutions and what happens in combat than it
The
is
role
to
story structure.
like a Western
Western.
to like a Western story. So it's particularly in later editions, anime and fights, Western in like the rest of the gameplay, and then like fantasy, medieval, and trappings.
So do you think there's a genre that just doesn't work, or do you think any of these genres we've talked about don't work and that's why they're not as popular?
In terms of, like I said, in terms of story genres, pretty much every genre you can think of under the sun, there's been a system written to run a game for that works reasonably well. Like, living your life as a medieval peasant game. Someone went to the trouble of writing Hardmaster, and I have that sitting on my shelf now.
I feel like I'd actually enjoy that.
Yeah, I could bring my Hardmaster. Once this whole pandemic thing is over, I could bring out my Hardmaster 3-ring binder and let you give that a look over.
Bring, as in physical. What?
Yeah.
I just wasted my fire flower falling in a hole. I'm not very good at platformers, if you didn't notice.
Yeah. Like
Couldn't
Chris
tell.
says, like, you can pretty much tell any story at the tabletop if you want to. Like,
Yeah.
imagine
Yeah, I
a
think so.
tabletop RPG built around girls in a school who had a baking competition.
Is that?
Could
I mean, that sounds very similar to Maid.
Oh, it's very similar to something that already exists. Case in point.
Yeah. Or it's very similar to
I was
Chubo's
supposed to
magical
jump the
wish
platform
granting
and use it
engine.
across the thing.
Let's see.
Or like, what are the mechanical limitations around what kind of story you want to tell? So
Yeah.
gameplay styles. I think there's more limitations there.
Yeah, when I say it's bad at emulating certain gameplay genres, which I'm not sure that's the spirit of the question. It's like, of course tabletop's going to be bad at emulating real-time strategy, because if you're all moving around like little shits at the same time someone else is moving around little shits, like, no,
Well,
you're
you
going
could
too
put
fast.
a turn
Right.
timer if you really wanted to get the real time into that.
And then it's not real-time strategy, because
Right,
you're not
yeah.
going at the same time.
Sure you are. You're moving at real slow time.
Everybody has to, like, just inch their pieces across the board slowly.
Yeah.
Well, it's counterbalanced by the fact that your character has 3 days to travel to a thing, and you do that instantly, and your character would be planning what you're going to do for those 3 days, but you, the player, since you do it instantly, have to come up with your half-assed plan in that few minutes you spend traveling 3 days.
Instant transmission.
Why didn't I
The
think
only
of
way
that?
to travel.
It's the one weakness of the soulless ones.
I'm pretty sure that I was just thinking, what would translate poorly? I'm like a sports RPG where you each play like team sports players, and then I'm like, no, that actually, if you did that right, I bet that would be fun as hell.
Yeah, I feel
Remember
like you
the
could do
Kevin
something like that.
Shack's guys?
Oh yeah, the battle on the basketball
arena.
court against Shaq's golems. That's a case of how that can work. Okay, so I would say my conclusion from this is that there are very few, if any, genres that don't work well in tabletop, or don't have a way of working well in tabletop.
Porn?
You can do porn in tabletop.
ERP. Derp.
Yeah, that's just a major thing.
Erp.
So yeah, is there any other points we want to put on that, or shall we move on to the video game topic?
I feel like this ball has so few points that it is a sphere. Wait.
Meh.
I think my metaphor's bad. Goodbye.
I like it.
All right, Crow, do you have anything to say on this? You've been quiet a little.
No, I really have no input. I mean, Chris hit pretty much every talking point. Literally, the only thing that came to mind was mystery investigation games should be good for tabletop.
And they have that in.
Yeah.
There's a few different systems. There's like Call of Cthulhu. There's the Gumshoe system, which has Trail of Cthulhu, funnily enough, which handles investigation in a different way. And there's lots of bad examples of like genre of how genres are
has
done.
investigation.
Yeah, investigate the dungeon room. It's a different thing.
Investigate where you lost Bill's soul at this week.
God, did we lose Bill's soul?
I feel like you have a few times. It wouldn't surprise me.
We just got Malbert's soul back. Are you telling me we lost Bill's soul?
I'm sure he has a spare lying around somewhere. Don't worry yourself too much.
He's probably got a spare in a lockbox or something.
Yeah. I mean, he
You're
did
going-
accidentally give himself to the bees.
Not the bees!
Yeah, but well, it's a good thing that there were 2 high-level magic users in that group, not just the one.
Yeah.
But before we get too much into inside baseball,
All right, so if that's all, I guess we can move on to our video game topic. Which this week our video game topic is overrated and underrated genres in video games. Something similar, but not really the same.
I will start with an overrated genre,
Oh yeah?
and I think visual novels are fairly... I don't get... And when I say overrated, I mean this genre is not for me. I don't get the appeal of it so much.
Garbage.
I don't get why visual novels took off the way they did. Except for, like, the porn ones, which I get that one, kind of.
Yeah.
Don't you? You understand anything if it's related to porn, right?
I mean, that just makes things that much more understandable.
Right?
I agree. I think visual novels are oversaturated and overrated medium. Like, it's an easy cop-out and cash grab genre.
You know, what's really funny is when we were talking about when I came up with this topic, I actually had a visual novel in my head as an underrated genre, but it's not because visual novel I think is underrated because I don't play very many visual novels myself. But this game really kind of sold me on the idea that it could be good because I've never really like I've tried a handful like very little snippets, but this was the first one.
Valhalla?
Really, yes, Valhalla. So Cyberpunk, I think, is a kind of an underrated thing, and it does a really good job of just presenting characters in this weird, like not post-apocalyptic, but like in a weird dystopian, like technology rules everything kind of world, and I think it's just a really incredible game, and proves that we need more Cyberpunk.
You were so hyped for that game.
He's all over the place stuff tonight. Steve.
I am looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077 when that comes out.
That does look pretty interesting too. So I'm gonna probably check it out because, as I said, I'm like all over that Cyberpunk lately. And by lately, I mean just that one time since I played, that game. I just got hit by the same cannonball twice.
That's impressive.
Stop running away, you dickhead ship. This ship is a dickhead.
Kinda
Two
is.
cannonballs.
Let's see. So you had, but you're underrated. Well, so I think the rest of us called it overrated. But do you think visual novels as a genre are underrated?
I don't know. I kind of see what you're saying, But I also, like, I haven't played enough of them that I feel like I can fairly judge that. I've played, you know, that's literally the only one I've ever played all the way through. And I can probably count on one hand the number of ones that I've played at all. I was in front of that stupid dickhead Piranha Plant.
And this isn't to say that I'm like, oh, I hate reading or whatever, because I love Disco Elysium.
Mm-hmm.
And that game is like 90% reading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's reading in a lot of games, but they don't necessarily have to be a visual novel to make that happen.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there was lots of reading in every Zelda game before, I mean, literally still every Zelda game, because Breath of the Wild is, like, mostly non-voiced.
I was really hoping the show would come back with you.
Yeah,
It's what I was expecting to happen. Just
I think
watching
he did that earlier.
What did we do?
With his own show.
Shell came back and killed you.
Probably. I keep jumping over that thing or something at the end of the level, so I'm like, damn it. We gotta go back.
There's the, visual novel's the only one that really comes to mind for, like, truly overrated. I feel like lots of genres go through a time when they get popular, and then every company is like, oh, we need to make a game, no matter what the game is, like, we need it to have this element, like, back when multiplayer shooters were a creation, like, every game needs to have multiplayer shooting elements.
Let's take the low-hanging fruit. I think battle royales are very overrated and oversaturated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whereas like every game needs to have a battle royale.
You don't want a battle royale version of Tetris or Mario?
Oh,
wait.
Those are like distinct enough variations on the genre, I think, that they're inspired.
Yeah, I mean, Fall Guys stands above it all, but
Yeah.
it's too many battle royale shooters.
But it's none of that means they're overrated. It just means the market's oversaturated right now, and we need to wait until the next big thing comes along. Like when everything was like a GTA clone.
Right.
And before that, when everything was like a platformer.
Everything was a Skyrim clone. Nice job.
Yeah.
I got the bullet bill.
That was a well choreographed death.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't it?
I feel only pain.
I'm trying to think of underrated genres that are genuinely underrated.
Genre that no one can relate to probably.
What is it?
All the fucking fishing mini games in all these games. I don't want to fucking fish in my games anymore.
Is that a genre, or is that just like
I don't know. It's just a
contractual shittiness?
Good enough for me.
Call it a subgenre.
Yeah.
Most of the time I like
Or the stealth
fishing
mini-games.
Am
Stealth
I weird?
mini-games. I would like fishing mini-games if they were optional. Like in Zelda, they're fine.
Right.
Usually.
Yeah.
I'd rather just dive into the water and hit it with my sword.
What is this, Minecraft?
That would be nice.
Yes, you can do that in Minecraft.
What is this, Zelda?
Or like the stealth, the mandatory stealth section
Oh,
of an otherwise action-oriented game.
those are also terrible.
Yeah.
Or the mandatory protective.
Oh god, don't even start with
Escort missions. Fortunately, those fell by the wayside. But those are all like specific crappy mechanics in larger genres of games.
like
So
fetch quests are also pretty oversaturated, but I mean they're more or less the same regardless of what you do. Get a quest, find an item, bring it backwards, and repeat.
what about underrated genres? Because I was thinking of like adventure games as an underrated genre. Due to how difficult it seemed to be to get them right, but how they seemed to be very good when they were done correctly.
Well, half the world seems to think adventures are just an excuse to tell someone a predetermined story. That's not an adventure by my book.
Mm-hmm.
I think the like comedy-esque type satirical games like Destroy All Humans, pretty underrated.
Oh yeah, that was one of those games where I looked at it, I thought, that looks interesting, and then I never played it. Or like the Tony Hawk style games. You don't see anything like that anymore.
I actually was watching the other day, like, some new game coming out that's a Tony Hawk Pro Skater game.
Yeah, they're remaking Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, so it's probably that.
Yeah, that actually just came out today. To be honest, I think the reason that the Tony Hawk style games died off is because nobody cares.
Yeah, like, now that Tony Hawk's, like, not an active member of any community anywhere, it's
Except
just
for
like...
Twitter. I guess he has a Twitter.
He's an old dude who still skates, even though, you know, no one really cares anymore.
Well, that's depressing.
Yeah.
No one cares about my sport anymore.
Right? I mean, because they don't even advertise, like, live skateboarding competitions anymore, do they?
Not that
I don't think so.
I have bad blocker. And
Then
YouTube,
again-
so.
Then again, I'm not in a circle that would see that.
Right.
Look at all of us commenting on something we have no knowledge of.
And I think that's the problem with finding like an underrated genre is we can be like, oh, here's a genre I love that I don't feel gets enough attention. But then there's clear examples of like people still making games for it that in like ways that it's still like loved. And it's usually very clearly like a niche that doesn't appeal to most of the gaming population.
Right.
Like grand strategy games, they have their niche. They're made by like a few companies, and they're usually pretty well loved. But then they're not for everybody.
Well loved by the 1,000 people who play them.
Yeah. There's like, or shit like Gary Grigsby's War in the West, where it's like, oh, you want to micromanage every aspect of one front of World War II? And are you that very specific kind of person? You can go play that if you're insane enough to. And that there's like 1% of people who are going to love that, and 99% of people who just don't have the fucking patience.
What was that called?
What?
What was the game called?
Gary Grigsby's War in the West. It's kind of I have it sitting on my Steam, and then I just looked at the game and was intimidated by it.
Oh yeah, that is a
I think
lot.
games similar to that, where they eventually just like automate certain things when you're like, yes, I do the same thing I always do.
Yeah. That game is so micromanagement heavy from the beginning that it's very user unfriendly, I would say.
You know, micromanaging in games or just doesn't seem like it is worth it at that point.
I think when micromanaging feels redundant to the gameplay is when it starts to get because you're like, I've already gone through this, what I'm doing right now doesn't really matter if it just does the same thing, I just did it every turn. Like, yes, bulldoze this one building to build this other building and then swap it back and forth every 10 turns, but why would I waste time doing that? It's not fun.
Right.
Unless you're like playing on ultra hard difficulty where that extra boost matters. It's kind of like if you're playing Skyrim, that's a well-known game, and you're like, why should I fuck around with the food buffs if they're not necessary for doing 99.9% of the content?
Yeah. Well, I always just ran out of potion and ate a shitload of food.
Yeah.
That was my reason for eating food in that game.
Yeah, but you're trying to kill me.
Another
Trying to
game
go to
I
pipe.
think it falls under the genre of, I would call it underrated, but it's really just a niche game, is like the automation game. Like Nick, I know you would mention Factorio in this, which has at least automation aspect.
You just automate all the micromanaging things.
And the game I was thinking of was like Magnum Opus, which is a game where you play an alchemist who creates like a machine that puts elements together to form certain concoctions.
That's more like a puzzle game, but you build a machine.
Yeah, it's like an open-ended puzzle game, basically. And I'm like, those are actually really cool. But so far as I know, Zachtronics is the only company guy who really does that. Who like really focuses on that. And it's a very, and although I like it, it's a very niche thing. It's like meant to appeal to programmer brains, I think. So
I'll just put it. I don't think.
It's a fair
I'll drink to that.
But yeah, I would highly recommend Factorio to anyone who hasn't played it.
That wasn't fair.
Wow.
I got stuck in the thing. It just kept like shoving me further in. I'm like, what am I supposed to do here?
not that.
Die.
Oh, you dodged the sock.
It's actually very good.
Man,
When I was a
that's
kid, I
amazing.
thought those
Okay.
were socks.
And I got a music note. I don't know what the hell that does.
It puts the wandering monsters to sleep, so you can walk past them.
That would be convenient. Turn around.
Can anyone else think of a genre that's underrated? That doesn't meet the criteria of, I think it's underrated, but it's actually just niche.
Not a ton of steampunk games. But,
Zelda.
like, I
think
guess
Zelda needs
it's
more
hard.
love.
What was that, Crow?
I said Zelda. I think Zelda needs more love.
Zelda does need more love. Zelda is
You
so
kidding
good.
me?
Any
kidding
amount of love for Zelda is not enough. It deserves more.
You know what? I think the Zelda genre is overrated.
You're overrated.
Fair, but that doesn't rebuke my point. That wasn't even a point. That was just a statement.
I mean, what he landed on was a point.
It was very pointy. Mario's
As a
ass
point.
can tell you about it.
Like, again, steampunk is like more of an aesthetic, and I'm thinking of like Steamworks of Arcana Magic Obscura. Let me see if I got the name of that game right. Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic Obscura was an old RPG that took place in a steampunk universe. That was apparently very well regarded at the time. I remember playing a demo from Sierra back before Sierra bit the dust.
Sierra.
And being like, what, this game is too hard. I tried to fight an ogre and his halfling handler, and then they killed me because I'm level 1, and what is this?
Sierra games.
Yeah. But it was an Western style RPG that where you were in an airship's maiden voyage, and then it got attacked by, I think, like World War I style pilots. Got shot down, and you were the only survivor.
Neat.
It was an interesting kind of game.
Mhm. Yeah, steampunk is also a kind of the thing that it's kind of hard to say it's underrated when everybody's favorite Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah.
I've known a lot of people who really like 7.
That's true. But, you know, if it's not 7, it's 6. Like, most
Yeah.
of the time.
second favorite was 10.
I would say 6 is probably the better of the Final Fantasies. For me, it's the people I know. They're like, I either liked 6 or I liked 4.
I like
Some
4
people-
better than 6.
And I never played 4, so I don't have room to judge.
Uh-huh. How dare you?
I never played 4 or 6.
How can you be on a gaming podcast? You'll have to drink for that. Speaking of which, Nick, what are you
Because I
drinking?
literally write tabletop game.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of which,
So, Nick, what you drinking?
so I was drinking yesterday, and I intend to drink the day after tomorrow, so I'm on a bit of a sobriety break.
You bastard. Well,
Will
we
you
know
be-
the rules that if there's a guest on the podcast that doesn't drink, that means I just have to drink more. So, I will
I'm drinking more in sympathy.
run away from this
Sympathy
ghost,
drink.
and then I will take another shot of Kraken. Just for you. Should I make
Shot of
another
Kraken.
spam shot glass? Here, I'll stick my...
Do you
Finger
want
in
to make
this.
another spam shot
I
glass?
mean, I still have this spam.
Is that
That is a cube of spam, yes.
Roughly
that's
cubic.
disgusting?
And I'm gonna put
That's what I
Kraken.
thought, but he's apparently happy to do it again.
Yeah.
Don't spill.
He seems to be enjoying himself.
Try not to spill this time. If I spill, I have to
It's
drink
like it's like two things that don't belong together.
it. Rum and spam. It totally works.
Granted,
Totally
not a
works.
lot belongs with spam, especially not spam.
That's how to take a shot. Mm. Yeah, sweet, spicy, and savory, and all at the same time. And salty.
Jesus.
Drop my controller. Oh god, I'm gonna die. Fuck.
Die in a fire, little red shit.
I'd rather jump on this Bowser's noggin. Fuck! How did that miss? Damn it!
Punched you. He punched you in the butt.
Yeah. Alright, anything else to say for this?
No,
Colonization games need more love.
I just, all I have to say to this is an image that I posted in the chat that the general public will probably never see.
Well, you know what?
It's swamp.
There is an alt tab for a reason. So, here's your image. Erg. Thwomp. Nice. So zoom that in for you. For your viewing pleasure. Nice. There. I'm pretty sure the general public still won't see it, because the general public doesn't watch my podcast, do they?
Well,
Probably.
anybody who watches your podcast will be able to, watch it here on YouTube. Not on those other places.
Has anybody ever eaten a spam full of rum other than me?
Probably the guy who posted the picture.
Yeah,
guess,
probably
yeah.
just that guy and you.
Yeah, I wondered if he posted it, and I wondered if he drank out of it or if he just nommed on it like me. Guess it's good either way. Alright, so anyways, I've been Sean Michael Patrick Thompson, as always, your slightly distracted host, because I did a thing, and now I can play Super Mario Brothers on the podcast. So, sorry for any weird distractions, as I'm getting used to my wacky-ass setup. I actually have 3 monitors here to accommodate it right now. So it's a little weird, and I was distracted even setting it up because it took me a second because something was going wrong with my computer, and I only actually got it turned on about 10 minutes before we started recording the podcast. So, lots of fun things going on in PC world, right? So, anyways, of course, I've been joined by my lovely and swarthy co-host, Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris, Terrified Screeching Audette. Instead of, let's see. Instead of plugging myself, I'm just going to totally forget what I was talking about. Oh yeah, I also started playing Papers, Please.
Oh, yeah?
Instead of plugging myself, we'll say I also started playing Papers, Please. And
Instead of plugging
Man, I'm
yourself,
7
we'll cycle back.
yeah, I'm 7 years late to the game, but yeah, it was still enjoyable.
That's
And-
okay. I'm a bit late to Undertale, and that's the other thing I forgot to say I played, because last week, Chris couldn't make it to the podcast, so instead I did a little live stream of myself playing Undertale. So check that out on the Drink to the Past YouTube channel.
And I also replayed another playthrough of Disco Elysium, which is still amazing. So, yeah.
Is it more Disco or more Elysium? What's the ratio?
Well, it's pretty even. It's
All
a
right.
pretty even ratio of Disco to Elysium.
All right.
Like, you're pretty Disco, and the world's pretty Elysium.
Well advertised. Appropriately named. All right.
I
And
highly
we've got our
recommend-
special guest, Crow.
I am Crowbird Cannon. You can find me on Twitter and YouTube and Two Guys Playing Zelda. I write, well, I haven't written anything for them in ages. But I also have a group channel called The Four Players that's been pretty active lately. I just put up a highlights reel of some funny moments from Sea of Thieves, in fact. It is pretty funny, and you guys should give it a watch. It's The Four Players. That's the
I
word
dig
for
the
it, not
pun.
the number for it.
4, not 4. Right?
Exactly.
The
This
number
guy gets it.
4, not 4!
This guy gets it.
Anybody that eats Spam full of rum will get it.
It's a very exclusive club.
Membership.
And of course, we're joined by our inexplicable joinee, Nick.
Join E.
Yeah, you're a joinee.
I have a title now?
Or I guess, are we the joinees and you're the joiner?
Well, that would imply that I'm the main character, which is a assessment that I...
Okay,
Reject.
Nick the inexplicable and innocuous NPC Brown.
Grit in PC life. It's more interesting. Wait, no, you don't have to be an NPC in order to be a side character.
It could be a sporting cast.
Yeah. Sporting
Supporting.
cast sounds good.
Guest star.
Or you could be the villain. What if Nick's
Or
the
the
villain
foil.
on our podcast?
Wow.
Anyone who wants to relegate themselves to NPC-hood is probably not the villain.
Not fair.
I'm the old man on the hill who throws things at the protagonist to guide him on his journey. The protagonist doesn't always like it.
Nice.
But
It's dangerous to go alone. Duck.
Duck, there's a duck over there. Oh,
Honk.
and then you throw a rock at him while he's looking the wrong way.
Just hope the ducks don't act like the cuckoos. Alright, and now we've come to the part of the podcast where we just talk about inane bullshit until somebody says something really, really awkward or strange.
So, I think Disco Elysium has the right way of doing skill checks because you can fail a skill check and get a better outcome than if you succeeded it. But sometimes you really don't want to fail skill checks because if you do, you accidentally call your police partner a racial slur and then he leaves for the day because he's hurt by it.
Wow.
I would
Yeah.
be down for something like that in Dead by Daylight. I mean, maybe not the racial slur part. But you know.
Be down for racial slurs in Dead by Day. What the fuck, Crow?
You mean something where you're able to yell shit at your allies
Yeah.
because they're
In-
doing stupid shit?
Instead of the gen exploding, you just yell out to the killer.
See, whenever the gen explodes and you're not on voice comms, you just let go of the gen and you point at them, and then you get back to work.
You don't yell anything, you just scream innately.
You just go, "Oh my god, stop making the generator explode," and then you miss your skill check, and you're like,
And then it just goes on loop.
"Yeah."
It's a shame the game doesn't detect your microphone input,
Yeah.
like broadcast it.
So apparently, Friday the 13th game had a local voice chat, so that the closer you were to somebody, the more the voice came in. So you could just see someone scream. You could just hear someone's screams fade as they ran away from you.
They had that all the way back in like Halo 2.
Yeah.
Which was good
Yeah.
fun.
That would be. I would have so much fun fucking with people of just, you know, you're out in the forest trying to figure out where to go, and all of a sudden you hear in the distance.
Oh god.
I don't know how I made that noise, and I don't think I could do it again.
You could have cut from that noise. I would have been a happy man.
That sounded like a very, very ungreased hinge mixed with it.
I see the booze talking.
If you've stuck with us this long, you have successfully watched me eat an entire half can of Spam.
Oh, that's horrible.
It's
That's
pretty gross.
probably not good for you.
You're only supposed to have like one slice a day, preferably
You
on a
just-
sandwich.
You mean calorie-wise?
I mean,
I used
like,
the other half of the can yesterday to make pizza. It was pretty good.
Okay, that works. You can make a pizza with Spam.
Just cut one of his veins open and spam like cauliflowers out from it.
Oh, that was an image I didn't need.
I feel like I should have cut the podcast off there, but I didn't think of it.
Cauliflowers. What a word.
Well, you've
You
heard
didn't
of,
know
like,
cauliflower was a verb, did you?
No, but it made sense.
You've heard of cauliflower ears.
You know the
Heard of
exact
carrot
imagery
nose.
we're going for too.
Now get ready for rabbit dick.
Well, at first I was like, why is Spam and cauliflower flying out of his... Oh, it's the Spam cauliflower ring.
Yeah, there you go.
I feel like somehow we can work in a joke about deflowering via cauliflower and Spam.
Jesus.